All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. So how exactly do you capture the pulse, the crazy traffic, the sheer sensory overload of an entire city, and somehow, forge it into wearable art? Well, today we're looking at something absolutely stunning, the Milano Collection. It's this incredibly ambitious project that attempts to translate the architectural tension, the deep history, and just the absolute unshakable confidence of Milan, Italy, into a series of jewelry pieces. Let's really unpack how an artist manages to take sprawling city streets and distill them down into metal and stone.
Now, what's super interesting about this quote is how it perfectly sets the stage for our whole journey today. Milan does not reveal itself through excess. Its beauty lives in proportion, contrast, and detail. I mean, that is literally the philosophical anchor for this entire collection. Milan isn't about being loud or overly flashy, right? It's a place where art, architecture, fashion, and design exist in this constant, really subtle dialogue. It's all about that meeting of the old and the new, the softness and the strength. Keep that in the back of your mind as we see how this idea actually gets crafted. So the brand behind this collection is Venity, and they anchor themselves in this really fascinating philosophy. They call it a place where light becomes culture and where design becomes identity. You can see right away that this isn't just about making pretty accessories. It's about taking the monumental, timeless culture of Milan and compressing it into something you can wear, your personal identity. It's a huge undertaking, and honestly, it's just fascinating to look at.
Okay, let's start with our first thematic study, duality. It's basically a study of contrast, the delicate state of being dual, where two completely distinct worlds find a way to coexist perfectly without, blending into one.
I mean, think about it. In Milan, you literally step out of some hyper-modern design showroom and bump right into a centuries-old cathedral. The collection totally celebrates that exact tension. On one side, you have ancient architecture and this really deep-rooted tradition, and on the other, just relentless, contemporary innovation. And it's not trying to mash them together into some mushy middle ground. Actually, no. It weighs the classic against the unmistakably modern so both worlds get to shine side by side. It's a beautifully complex way to approach design.
Imagine the abstract energy of those opposing forces actually intersecting in the middle of the city. You've got these warm and cool tones, interconnected nodes just pushing and pulling against one another. It totally represents those specific moments in Milan where understated elegance just collides head-on with bold expression. It's refined, sure, but it's also incredibly powerful. It creates this really dynamic presence. And this is that invisible energy the artist had to conceptualize before turning into something you can actually touch.
And wow, here we see that abstract tension turn into a physical reality with the dual atop pieces. The necklace, the earrings, the bracelet. Just notice that striking visual friction between those vibrant, almost fiery red stones and those really deep anchoring black elements. The whole character of the piece lies right there in that contrast. It's a classic silhouette, but it's unmistakably modern. It completely proves that you can wear two totally opposing forces and still achieve this kind of perfect harmony. All right, moving right along to our second theme, luce e ombra. Light and shadow. This is that timeless dialogue of depth, concealment, and revelation.
Try to picture the sensory experience of just walking past Milanese architecture. Imagine the bright sunlight slowly moving across these ancient stone facades, dipping into hidden little courtyards, and then bouncing right off sharp geometric forms. The design here mimics the way architectural light reveals a shape, while the shadow sort of conceals the mysteries right behind it. Because you really can't have rich, intriguing dimension without the darkness there to contrast the light. And look at how that massive architectural interplay is just miniaturized so perfectly in this luce and ombra butterfly piece and bracelet. The really intricate filigree of the butterfly catches the light and reveals it, while those layered, contrasting stones sitting underneath provide this grounding shadow. It really proves that it's right where light meets shadow that true, undeniable character finally emerges.
Next up, theme number 3, Cuore di Milano, the heart of Milan. This one is all about the rhythm, the soul, and the kind of beauty that the city reveals to you gradually.
So Milan has a soul that definitely moves at its own distinct pace. This particular theme draws its inspiration from the energy flowing specifically through those historic streets. Think about those quiet, really intimate courtyards, sitting right next to the electric, buzzing energy of the world-renowned fashion and design districts. It's a city that doesn't just hand you its beauty on a silver platter, right? You actually have to walk its streets, feel its pulse, and let it reveal itself to you over time.
The Cuore di Milano pendant captures that exact spirit so perfectly. Notice the incredibly intricate, almost labyrinth-like silverwork? That totally echoes those winding, historic streets, and it naturally leads your eye right down to that solitary, striking red heart at the bottom. It's not just inspired by Milan, it literally carries its spirit. It invites you to lean in and look closer, gradually revealing its beauty through all these little textures and moments of unexpected elegance, all captured right there in a single jewel.
And finally, we arrive at Linea di Potere, the line of power. This is a total expression of strength, precision, structure, and pure presence.
So the tone shifts dramatically here. We're moving from the romantic heart of the city to just absolute, unapologetic confidence and authority. Think about the sharp, sleek silhouettes of high-end Milanese fashion walking down a runway, or the unforgiving lines of its modern skyscrapers. Milan is an absolute powerhouse in the global design world, and, staying at the very top of that game requires a serious level of unshakable, structured strength.
But how do you actually wear that kind of power? Well, you refine it into something like this minimalist teardrop pendant. Now, the design language here might be minimal, but make no mistake, it is absolutely never quiet. Every single line is completely intentional. Every angle carries serious authority. It basically takes all that towering, fashion-forward confidence we just talked about and condenses that pure power into one single elegant line. It's crafted specifically for people who carry their own immense presence.
Now, pulling all four of these totally distinct facets together, the balance of duality, the depth of light and shadow, the romantic heart, and that incredibly sharp line of power, that requires a true visionary. It takes someone who profoundly understands exactly how to mold an entire, complex culture into light, and then somehow forge that light into metal and stone that a real person can actually wear. Which brings us to this really incredible milestone. The visionary artist and founder behind Venity, then Alina Ilieva, was actually recently recognized with a certificate of selection in the 100 Artists of Europe. I mean, what a massive validation of her exceptional talent and the pure originality of her creative vision. She didn't just design a line of jewelry here. She successfully captured the literal essence of a major European cultural epicenter. By translating the profound contradictions of Milan into the Milano Collection, Venity proves something so essential. Design isn't just decoration, it's identity. It's exactly how we signal who we are to the outside world. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question. Which of these elements, the unshakable strength of the line of power, the complex depth of light and shadow, with a beautiful balance of duality, resonates most deeply with you? What facets of your own identity are you going to carry with you into the world today?